Okay, I'm going to draw a hand. And this, since one of the things people struggle with the most are hands, feet, that kind of thing. And one of the reasons is because they're so complicated. And this is the whole reason that we do the blocking in analysis and kind of mapping out the form before you start dealing with like wrinkles and shadows and all of that kind of thing. So the hand is a series of boxes. And I'm going to start by looking at the wrist, right? I've got front, back, sides. So I'm going to do the wrist as a rectangle. And I'm actually using a plaster cast of a hand, because my hands are not good subjects. My days of being a hand model are over. So I've got this rectangle, and I'm drawing the hand where I'm seeing part of the back and part of the side, and that's the view you want to use. Like hold something where you're seeing not just, the hand should not be just flat. You want to see it in a very three-dimensional kind of form, like where you're seeing the back of the hand and the side. And I'm going to do just the back of the hand. I'm going to almost pretend like I've cut this out of cardboard and it's just a flat surface that I'm going to draw. So from the back, I'm going to bring up the back of the hand. First row of knuckles, kind of angling back slightly. But the first row of knuckles swings an arc like this, and that's the key. As the fingers, and again I'm dealing just with the back surface, as the fingers bend, the angle of the knuckle will repeat or be parallel to whatever this first row of knuckles, whatever angle that is. So as the finger bends over, this angle stays the same. Until in this case it bends over so far that I don't see the top of the finger at all. The next knuckle kind of angles out slightly. It's a little lower than this one. And it's going to repeat this angle. Far one, and then I kind of made the back of the hand a little bit wide, so I'll make that narrower. Don't stretch the fingers out to fit. I'm looking at how the fingers relate to each other. And then, if I need to trim the hand, I will. Okay? From that, I'm going to take it into the side. So the side of the finger comes like this. I have that kind of webbing over the side of the hand, kind of stretching between the thumb. And I'm going to hold my pencil across the top of the thumb and see where it lines up with the hand, the rest of the hand. And in this case, it lines up with that first knuckle. So my thumb is here. This is the side coming in. And then the back of the thumb, the same thing will happen. The key from where my view is this knuckle. I can see that clearly. But if that knuckle's running at that angle, the tip of the thumb and the knuckle where it starts are at the same angle. So you have a series of hinge joints. So this is the hand blocked in. This is me blocking in that form where I have this very geometric, you can see, the three-dimensional quality of the fingers where you have these series of boxes. And if you look at that sculpture video that I sent you where the guy is sculpting the hand in clay, you'll see him approach it exactly the same way. Now as I start to refine it, I'm going to build on this. I'm going to keep this overall shape. So as this knuckle get that pad or that thickness of the knuckle, it still kind of flattens out on the top and then rounds. This finger, this is where I start to bring in the thickness and some of the pads where you get that skin. I got this knuckle, swings out, again, kind of flattens out. Even the thumbnail will kind of run at this angle. So it's following those same shapes that I initially started mapping out with the framework. And it's usually hands get too soft. Like if there's one thing that happens that keeps them from looking at a hand, they do not get mechanical enough. These are very, I mean, they're made to grip things. You have this series of hinge joints. Knuckle on the back of the hand. The knuckles, if I hold my hand like this, right? So I'm just seeing just the back and seeing them kind of as a shape straight on. The shape of the knuckle would be something like this. Right? I have kind of flattens out a little bit, and then when I turn that to the side, of course the center moves over, so that shape becomes this shape. So I want to show that. As I'm drawing the knuckles, where they lean that way. And I've kind of exaggerated the shape or the darkness of them a little bit so they stand out more. And then from there on out, I would just keep working on tones, all the veins, that kind of thing. But the shadows are going to follow that initial mapping out that you've done. And I'm doing this way too quick. I will post some photos of finished hands that you can kind of look at. But remember, when you're doing like the veins or where you're seeing the bones push out against the skin, you're not going to do that as just a single line, but it becomes a combination of dark shadow, right? Then it catches light, and then you have the surface being kind of a middle tone. So it's this pattern of lights and darks. Just don't do it as a line. You don't want it to look like a crack. Okay, so you're going to do two drawings. One on newsprint, where you just block the hand in, take it to that stage I had before I started doing all the shadows. And then on better paper, and you can use the same pose. Like if you want to use the same view with your hand, you can draw you can find someone who's willing to sit there and hold something for you so you can draw their hand. You can do that. But you're going to do one where you just block it in on newsprint and then stop. And then you're going to do one on drawing paper, or if you'd like, you can use like something like the brown paper or something like that and the Prisma pencils. But you're going to finish that one with all the shadows, details, and that type of thing. And then both of them will get posted to the assignment as JPEGs on Blackboard. And I've sent you a little kind of how-to blurb. I didn't send it. It's actually posted on Blackboard under content. But it's just a little helpful sheet, a little information sheet about the best way to take photos of 2D works. And I know that most of you don't have lights where you can set up like two lights and that, but the point being that you want to get it as evenly lighted as possible. Whether that means using a ceiling light and laying it on a table or pinning it up on the wall or taping it up on the wall, something like that. If you do that kind of thing, try to make sure that you get your shadow out of the picture, that you're not standing between your light source and your drawing, but take as good a, let the picture be as, when you take that photo, try to make it as clear and as good a photo as you can take. It makes it much easier for me to see what you've done if you take a good image. If you have any questions, email me. And that's it. I will still be here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, even if it's only, if nobody shows up, I'll probably take off after an hour or so. But I will be still coming in if you have questions. But if you can't make it, early, but you're going to come in, if you let me know, I'll hang out, make sure I see you. Stay safe.